What's up, everybody? It's the Bipolar Prophet, and welcome back to Old Ridge Farm and Farming Simulator 15. So, if you guys follow me on the Facebook page, Bipolar Prophet Gaming on Facebook, you may have seen some screenshots I posted of my alfalfa harvest. I decided to forage Field 1 with alfalfa, and as it usually is with me, alfalfa is very laggy. Even though those are the low-res, quote-unquote, alfalfa textures, it was still so laggy that I couldn't really record it. I mean, I was seriously down into the single digits of frame rates. And even though I don't worry about that too much, it was basically unwatchable. Wouldn't have been a lot of fun. So I snapped some screenshots. I put them up on the Facebook page. And you know, for the most part, you guys all saw them and responded to them, and thank you very much for that. One thing that I forgot about alfalfa, and you'd think I would make notes for myself, right, is the amount of yield you get from alfalfa. Now, if we look over here, you'll see that I have my dairy clamp is full, and because we had so much, we realized pretty quickly that we were going to have so much, silage that we weren't going to have any place to put it. So we filled this clamp up really quick. Probably half the field filled this up. So, and you can see it's full. It's fermenting. It's doing its thing. So I was like, oh, crap, what am I going to do? Well, I needed some sort of temporary clamp. So I called around to the local construction sites, supply companies. And I said, listen, I need, a semi-trailer full of what I call Jersey barriers, those concrete, like K-rail things that they put down on the road to sort of, when they're working on the road to sort of, separate the construction site from the main lanes. I was lucky enough to find one that had a bunch of them, and I said, well, I need them. Expensive, as you can see, this year has just been ridiculously expensive. So they came down with the lorry. I used the telehandler to chain them off, lift them up off the lorry and stack them up over here. And we have a whole nother, this is about half full of silage. So I don't think silage is going to be an issue. Now, that presents a problem in the respect that what do I do with all this corn? Had I been thinking and had I remembered that, alfalfa, the yield on alfalfa is ridiculously high, I wouldn't have planted all this corn. So when I first came to Old Ridge, obviously Old Ridge has a BGA. They have a sustainable energy project like most places do now. And I had reserved a bunker when I first got here, and I never really did anything with it. Unfortunately, our BGA is sort of hit or miss because the farmers in the area, this not being, most of the farms, with the exception of the majors and Mike's is pretty good size too, are fairly small. So a lot of the farmers don't grow stuff that can be converted into biomass for the BGA. But I had reserved a bunker. I'd actually reserved two bunkers. As was the contract with this farm previously, with the previous owner. But I never did anything with them. So now I can at least provide the BGA with some biomass because I have a lot of it. We're not quite ready for that yet. Still going to be another couple days before the corn comes up. I need to get it out of the ground because it's getting cold here in Old Ridge. We're getting into, very late autumn now. I need to get this chopped up. But the alfalfa harvest went well. I mean, there wasn't any major issues with it. It's just a lot of trips back and forth, because I borrowed the major's New Holland forage harvester. And I used my own, my Stewart trailer. I just put the silage sides on it and made the trips back and forth to dump. So it took quite a while, but we got through it. So in this episode, the first thing we need to do is feed our hungry animals, or feed our hungry dairy cows. As you can see, they're getting pretty low on mixed rations, so I need to feed them. So we'll go ahead and fire this up. And, of course, turn it down because it's going to be really, really loud. Sorry about the flashy screen, guys. You'd think I would remember to do this before I started, but I never do. So, let's see. Grab a silage bale. As you can see, we're down to how many silage bales we have here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 silage bales. I don't think those are going to last until my silage is fermented. Hopefully they do. We will find out. I would imagine at some point that my cows will go. I mean, I have quite a bit of hay left, but plus the stuff I'm going to bring down from Court Farms. We're just about done up there, actually. I've got some grain to sell and some bales to move, and that'll pretty much be it for us at Court. So, unless I somehow manage to figure out, some way to get, all the money to buy that. To buy that farm, which I doubt it's going to happen, guys. You know what I mean? It's just, that's debt that you never get out of, unless we have just a tremendous year, on that farm. So, Whoops, that stupid milk container. The other thing you can see, we have quite a bit of milk to sell. I need to bring it to the cob to sell it. I'm not going to fill up the Milk Max machines anymore, for the simple fact that it's just not, it's not feasible for me anymore. So it's too far of a drive to bring the milk for delivery so they can package it and everything. It's just not, it's not worth it to me anymore to do it. So I have called the company that I bought the Milk Max machines from, and they were like, well, you didn't stay in that business very long. No, I really didn't, unfortunately. And it's just one of those things. But there we go. I just wanted to get that auto loaded so I could pick up another one over here. It's one of those things. It was a good idea to start with, but it just now, because of the the whole sort of distribution end of it, it's just not working out. So there we go. That's 2. What I may end up doing, whoop, I'm gonna crash into the building. What I may end up doing is putting another manure storage over there. I got to look at picking up another a manure transport barrel now that I can actually haul manure with, because I think what I want to do is, if I can actually do it, is put my excess liquid manure in the in where my dairy, my beef cattle are, in those big retention tanks over there. That's what I'd like to do. I don't know if that's going to actually work or not, but so I don't have to, get a big slurry tank over here, temporary tank, to hold my excess slurry. Because now, as you can see, we're up to 100 and how many cows do we have? 109 cows, dairy cows. So we're getting up there. The herd is getting big. So I'm actually going to take down my third calf rearing pen too, because I just don't need it. I'm going to have too many cows. As it is now, I'm going to have to build a new shed at some point. So there's just not enough room for this big old herd now. So what I figured we do in this episode is we will, I don't know what side this thing is on. Left? No, I want it on the other side. There we go. And Q. Nope, I was right the first time, you big stupid. What I want to do in this episode is I want to obviously feed these cows, sell this milk, and then go pick the apples and the pears, because those are ready to go. So, and hopefully we can get all that done in one episode. We shouldn't have any trouble getting that done. Selling milk shouldn't take too long. Even though, where the cob has their sort of, receiving tanks is kind of a pain in the ass to get into, but that's okay. All right. Feed the cows. Those are good. Yeah, we're up to 10,000 liters of milk. I need to get that out of there. Got a little bit of a late start this morning because, yesterday was a long day with because Phil was up at Court Farms, doing some baling and stuff, and doing some, sort of end of the road stuff up there. And me and Perry were down here doing the alfalfa harvest, and it was only the two of us, obviously. He was driving the harvester, and I was driving the carting tractor. So you can imagine how well that went. So it took all day to do that. That's not a big field, but it's a big field when you're making one pass down the field and your trailer's full, and you have to run down and and dump it in the clamp and then come back. And it's it's not a long ways, but it's a little ways. So we were there pretty late. So I said, okay, you know what, come in a little later this morning. It's always like that this time of year. When you're trying to get a whole bunch of stuff done before hard winter shows up, and so it's a lot of hours. So I was like, you know what, come in a little later today. We'll get a little bit of a later start. So I was obviously over here at about 6 o'clock this morning, just having a look at everything and checking out the animals and all that. But I figured I would give Perry a little bit of a break this morning. What we're going to do, actually on field 1, and I don't know if we're going to get to that today or not, we might, is we're going to, I've got to spray some lime on it. It's a little acidic over there, as you would expect it would be. Alfalfa creates a little bit of acidity in the ground. But what we're going to do is we're going to spray lime on that, and then in a couple of days, I'm going to direct drill some winter wheat. Now, I don't normally plant winter wheat. It's not normally something I plant, but it would be nice to have a crop come up, early spring, I think, or mid-spring probably. So I think I might start doing that from now on. I think I'm going to, I may not plant alfalfa again as a cover crop, just for the simple fact that it's for the game, it's unwieldy to use. It's laggy and everything else. So I don't know. We'll see about that when the time comes, I suppose. And to chaff it, you know, you just get so much. Now, do I need all this silage? Sure, I'll certainly use it. You know, that'll cut down on the amount of you know, the pressure on my little meadows. You know, I could just use those for hay now. So, because I should have enough silage to last me, you know, at least over the winter and probably into late spring, probably by the looks of it. I hope. We'll see. You see, I'm still getting a little bit of lag. I have done some stuff to the map. You know, just to get ready for my winter stuff. I've moved some hedges. I've taken up some of those, you know, some of those bumpy farm tracks and stuff, so I can plow and things like that. You know, I got a couple other things I want to do. One thing I want to do is I can't afford to buy a new shed this year. Having a look at what a shed's going to cost me, you know, it's looking at about $85,000 by the time you get materials and labor and the guys to come down here and build it and everything. So that won't be happening this year, but next year I want to, at some point, I would like, you know, if we can actually hold on to some money, I would like to build a new dairy shed, you know. So, but see, this is what I mean about the alfalfa. This alfalfa isn't even fully grown, and it's already starting to lag. So I don't think I'll be planting alfalfa again. I say that all the time. I say, oh, alfalfa, you know, in my computer don't mix, and then I go plant it. But I just hate to leave those fields fallow. But I suppose I could start putting winter wheat in the ground to have an early, you know, mid-spring sort of harvest, along with my barley that I'll put in the spring, and the, you know, and the potatoes and the sugar beets. So now, this is always tricky, and you know, and it's for a couple of reasons. One is because I put a building up over where the trigger for this is, you know, which is of course ridiculous, but I just, to me, it made more sense, you know. Normally when you deliver milk, it's always delivered inside so they can, you know, so the quality control lab can have its, you know, its sample, so they can spray the nozzles with disinfectant and everything else. So, and it's a little tricky to get in here, thanks to Cobb. As you can see, I've already screwed it up. Yep. Great demand for wood chips. Well, I don't have any wood chips biomass plant, so I'm sorry. Nope. Now, I know what you're all saying. Well, BP, why wouldn't you just back up through the gate and then back up that way? Well, that's great, and I normally do that. But the problem here is that the trigger is off in the corner of the building because I'm a big doofus. And I could move it, certainly, but I've sort of gotten used to the big struggle of trying to get in here. So. And, of course, this building is, you know, hugely collidable. Every bit of it's got a collision on it, so. So trying to get it in the corner of this building is a bit of a hassle. I just got to wait till I see the little sell milk icon, you know? Oh, trust me, the Cobb guy's get a kick out of me every day when I come over here, so. The problem is that I can get the trailer in, but then the tractor gets stuck on the door. Ugh. Well, there you go, guys. I hope you guys are enjoying the very, you know, the sort of right off the bat goofiness that is me. You know, I may have to do something with this because it's a little unwieldy. You know, is it realistic? Perhaps. But I think this door would probably be wider in real life. And I can't really, I can't do that, you know. Well, I could if I brought it in a blender, say, and, you know, just chopped that door, made it wider. And I suppose I could do that, but it'd probably be easier in the long run just to move the trigger. So now hopefully this is right. If I could swing it in there. I can't. Ugh. I do this every time. This is normally why I don't sell milk on screen, because it's so goofy, you know. Just get on that trigger, and the trigger's way in the corner, so it's a little unwieldy, to say the least. What I really need to do is get the tractor in the right position so I can move the trailer. What'd BP do in this episode? Well, he spent 25 minutes trying to sell milk, you know, and bashed the hell out of his milk trailer. Pretty much. Come on, where is it? There it is. Jeez. What a nightmare that is, huh? I'm going to have to do something with that. And, of course, milk is going for nothing. So if I make, if I make $5,000 off of that, well, almost 8. So, again, not very much, as you would expect. But okay, all right. So that's done, finally. I hope you guys enjoyed that. That's, and there's no point in me being mad about it because that's my own fault. I originally put the triggers there. Because obviously you guys watch, Reefy 1952's, or Mike, Mirror Man. You watch his videos, and he put a milk trigger in that same exact spot. So I did the same thing because I'm just a big rip-off, right? And then I got looking at it, and I'm like, you know what? Every time I've ever seen milk delivered, it always goes inside a building. So I'm going to put a building over there. Not thinking that I should have sold the triggers first and then replaced them, in like maybe square in the middle of the thing. Of course not. No, not BP. Oh, no, I'll just put them wherever. It'll be fine. And now I'm just struggling trying to get the trailer in there. So my own fault. So these machines will be gone in a couple days. I'll have to bring down. Cobb did say they will take the last of my barrels of UHT milk. So, that was sort of it's too bad really because the money is decent. But once you factor in the drive, to sell the stuff now, or the delivery cost to have them come and pick it up, it's really not much more than regular raw milk is. So it's just easier for me in the long run just to sell the raw milk. All right. Get disconnected from that. Jump back in. Just realized I didn't have my beacons on at all. How am I not getting tickets? How is that happening? We will run down to the... Well, might as well go out this way. We'll run down to the orchard. Although, actually, if I'd have been smart, I would have went out the other way because I want to go this way anyway. We'll run down to the orchard. We'll pick up a couple of Ross boxes. Get those apples and pears harvested. Get them sold. And then if there's any time left over, I think I want to bring this major to the slurry, my slurry sprayer there, over to Chad and get that sold off. So he's been looking for that, since I have the new one, which I didn't show you guys, and I will. So probably won't be getting a field this year, just because the money, I knew this year was going to be tight, and I spent a bunch of money that probably I didn't need to spend. But you know me, money, got to spend it. So, and then paying back the bank, what they wanted, plus a little bit more because, I'm really trying to work on, at some point this farm needs to start making sustainable money, right? And it does make money, not hand over fist certainly, but enough to sustain itself. But I'd really like to try to get into less debt. Let's put it that way, because obviously getting out of debt probably never going to happen. And of course the bank was very happy to accept my extra payments. So, and also they haven't paid me for Court Farms yet either. They're going to pay me when that's done. So, so there'll be a little bit of money coming from that. So we're not going to be quite as destitute as we are now. Because obviously I'm going to need some working capital over the winter when no money's coming in, aside from the milk sales, so which, as we know, just dismal. So apparently Mike's going to have a talk with some council members. We kind of elected Mike as the spokesman for us because he's been here the longest. His family's been here for over 100 years. So about this grass, and hopefully we can at least I'm not even looking for all the meadows, but a couple of meadows would be nice, Not that I necessarily need it at this exact moment, but it certainly wouldn't be bad to have it, Okay. I've got pears in there. Those are going to be rotten, right? Well, that's a beautiful thing about the game. The game doesn't care. So we will just pick up these Ross boxes. To be honest, I only need 2 Ross boxes. I should probably sell all these other ones because my idea of harvesting, more than one time a year is not particularly realistic. So, there we go. So what I might do is I might just keep 2 of these Ross boxes and sell the rest. They need to get rid of this wheat, though, so I can put one on the front. that off. Grab the other Ross box. That'll give me a little money. Because at one point I was going to expand this orchard quite a bit, and then I realized that, okay, well, that's fine, but with everything else I've got going on the farm, I don't really have time for a massive orchard, as much as I'd like one, I don't want to get rid of it entirely, but I just don't have the sort of, resources to handle a great big one. So I don't need all those Ross boxes. It's that simple. Although I may bring one down to the dairy just to use to keep, so I could, when I have to give milk to my calves, might make it a little easier than bringing that big old dairy tanker around. So there we go, and we're picking fruit for the first time this year, and the last time actually. Might as well start with the pear since that's what I have in the back box anyway. All stuffy this morning. Big storm coming, huh? Now, today is Friday. You guys will probably see this on Monday, maybe, or Sunday, perhaps. But if you live in America, in the United States, and you live, sort of in the Mid-Atlantic region, you know that that area is winding up to get a massive storm. They're talking about 3 feet of snow, 30 plus inches, wind and ice and hail and everything else. And the funny thing is that normally when those storms come, they come barreling across the country from the west to the east. They shoot straight up north to where I live, and we get plowed. We just get ruined with, 100 feet of snow, right? Well, I've been watching the weather quite a bit because obviously I need to know, I need to be prepared because I got to go out and shovel my driveway, and I need to go out a whole bunch of times and shovel my driveway, during the course of a storm. But this one in particular has been, it took a track that brought it straight across the middle of the country, and the cutoff for where the snow's going to be is about 100 miles south of me. Now, 100 miles to a great big storm is nothing, right? So I'm not too confident we're not going to get a ton of snow, but the way that the Weather Channel and the way that the Weather Service has been sort of, forecasting it, looks like we might not. So that would be awesome. I'll certainly, I feel bad for the people it's going to nail, and it's going to nail some people that aren't used to getting huge amounts of snow. So, there's probably going to be all kinds of transportation issues and, power outages and things, and that sucks for them, but I'm glad it's not going to hit us. Let's put it that way. So I wish it didn't have to hit anybody, to be honest. Yes, I'm a native New Englander. I've been here my whole life. I'm used to snow and wind and weather and everything else. But that doesn't mean you have to like it. So we're getting quite a few pairs, as you would expect we would have, My bee house. Oh. They seem pretty happy. I still enjoy this, even though I only do it really once a year, quote unquote, now, but I still really enjoy it. It's still fun, I think this orchard's the right size for this farm now. I do believe that front box is full, and I really don't see any reason to expand it. I need to expand the real money-making aspects of the farm. Now, the dairy is, if you were to break down what it costs me to run that dairy versus what I make, that's a money loss. You know what I mean? But I just cannot bring myself to get out of the dairy business because it's such, an integral part of the heritage of this area. And I just do not want to stop being a dairy farmer. So when it comes time to where I can't make enough money to feed my animals, or maintain their health, then they will go. But I will hold on till the bitter end. So I just need to find other ways to make money on this farm. And really the only way that's going to happen is with, with grains, with arable stuff. So what would be awesome is if I get these last few trees in this box and I don't have to come back, but I think I'm going to have to. Yeah, I think this tree will probably fill it up. Okay, well, that's fine. Already 25 minutes. Shawnee B, I'm sorry, my friend. I'm sorry. This might be a little bit of a long episode, but I want to get this done. I want to get, obviously I needed the animals fed. I needed this done. So I don't want to do too many more episodes where stuff doesn't get finished, I was just watching one of David Oldfield's videos, his latest one, actually. And he's got a good idea, as with so many of his ideas. I'm straight up stealing it. But he's got a good idea in the sense that, he's going to make shorter videos, but he's going to get stuff done. Well, my videos, because everything I do seems to take so long, unfortunately, my videos are going to be a little longer, but I'm going to get stuff done. I'm going to get, I want to have a plan of what I want to do in the beginning of an episode and get that done. So that's the idea anyway. All right, that's that one. Store's doing pretty well, it's making a little money. So I don't know if I told you guys this or not, but I actually, the guy that actually opened the store has decided to sort of go a different route with his stores, and I actually bought this from him. So we're basically doing a profit exchange. I pay him so much money for however much money I make. So this is actually my store now, which is cool. Got a couple people working in there, so whatever I can do to spend more money, right, that I don't really have, I guess, is the rule around here. BP, let's spend a bunch of money we don't have. That's one reason why I make absolutely certain I pay the bank, because if I need an emergency loan, they're much more likely to give me one if I have showed that I'm making my payments, and a little extra when I can. I really couldn't afford to do it this year, but I said, you know what? Let's do some good faith work with the bank. Let's show the bank how much I appreciate all their help and everything, and give them back a little bit more money than they originally asked for. So, and of course they were thrilled to take it. So this is the last tree of pears. Okay, very good. Now I hope I can get, without crashing into the trees, I hope I can get these pears into the store. It's funny because, you have customers that come in and they're looking for the pears, They're looking for the apples and stuff, and they're like, oh, it must be getting to be that time now. Yep. I tend to pick later than everybody else, and I learned that in real life from my old boss that I worked at the Apple Orchard Dairy Farm. That you want to pick about, it's such a balancing act that you want to pick right before the first frost, right? Because then the apples are going to be their hardest, they're going to be their sweetest, they're going to taste the best, and that's what I tend to do here too. I tend to wait till the last possible second to pick, and this was really getting to be it now. Just like that corn, I need to get that corn chopped. A couple days, we'll be chopping corn. Now, I'm not sure how I'm going to actually do that, whether I'm going to do it, in a time lapse, or whether I'm going to do it in multiple episodes. I don't really know yet. I haven't quite figured that out. So, but I will figure it out, obviously. Oh, you may notice too, and I said this in the last episode, but I have the trailer sound mod now, which I really like, and I was a little rough on it, I think, when I first said, well, it's just a sort of generated noise, and it's, it's not dynamic or anything. I actually believe that it is. You can actually hear it with the Ross boxes, which is kind of cool, because these things would rattle in real life. They're just metal and wire and stuff. I think that's really neat that they sort of rattle around like that. And it is a very cool mod, and I wish I remembered where I got it from, but I don't. I may have gotten it from Mod Hoster. This is sort of like the 4th or 5th version of it that's been out. So, if you guys are looking for maybe a little bit more immersiveness, a little bit more realism or whatever, definitely go check it out. One thing that's really cool about it is that it almost sounds like it was recorded from a silage wagon. Because when I was doing the alfalfa, and running back and forth, you could hear the silage sides banging against each other. You could hear the door banging, There's a brake sound in there, So it's really neat. And I was a little rough with it, a little rough on it when I first got it, because I hadn't really experienced the full sort of range of the sounds that it'll make. So, but it is very cool. I haven't had any problems with it. It hasn't been buggy or weird or anything, so it didn't seem to cause a conflict with anything else I was running. Unlike that temporary silage clamp. because I filled that up once, and then I left the game. I was up really late last night. Last night being Friday night, really late, like up to like 4 in the morning, just doing stuff, and so I left the game, and I come back in this morning, and I'm like, where the hell did all my silage go? Well, magically it managed to transport itself from that clamp back to the placeable pile that I had where I was putting it. I was like, okay. So I filled it back up again, I compacted it, I sheeted it, and then left the game, came back, and it was there. So hopefully it stays there, because that's going to be a little weird. The only reason I'm telling you that is just in case, we come back in a couple episodes or whatever, and I don't have any silage over there. That's what happened. There might be something bugged with that mod. It's just a placeable mod, And Farming Simulator 15 is a little fussier about placeable mods than Farming Simulator 13 was. So, and I'm pretty sure this is just a convert from Farming Simulator 13. So there might be something in there that Farm Sim 15 doesn't like. So we will find out. So if we come back in a couple episodes and I don't have any silage over there, that's why. Oh, the eggs. I gotta grab the eggs too. I should probably have done that, but okay. I believe my animals are gonna need to be mucked out as well. That wouldn't surprise me. You want to fill up a box here? Thank you. I know that front box isn't full yet, but for some reason it didn't want to fill up, so okay. If I had spaced these trees, now it's full. If I had spaced these trees apart just so, I could probably fill up 2 boxes at the same time, but I put a little too much space between them. In real life, they'd actually even be closer spaced than this, so. That front box is full. Now we gotta fill up the back box. Mike, have you been down eating my apples again? I'm always missing one apple. I mean, again, that's fine. It's funny in Massachusetts, and I only know this because I worked in an apple orchard. It's actually a felony. If you pull over the side of the road onto clearly marked private property in an orchard and pick an apple off of a tree, that's theft of property, and that could technically be you could be arrested and charged with a felony. Oh, does it ever happen? Not very often. In fact, I don't know that it's ever happened. I mean, maybe it has. I've never heard of it. Should you do it? Of course not. But whatever. And sometimes you'll have orchards that are very old, and the trees will have been planted up against a road, but they suddenly became on private property when the road came through. Or suddenly became public property when the road came through, and they, took it for eminent domain so they could build a road, but they never moved the trees. Well, believe it or not, those trees now belong to, the state or the town or whatever, so you can actually pick the apples off of them. All right. Ooh, just about full. Perfect. And that is apples and pears at Old Ridge for this year. Wonderful. Just get these unloaded. I think I will bring one of these. Well, what we're going to do is we'll unload this. We'll sell all those Ross boxes except for these 2, and then I will bring these up to the dairy. Well, you know what? No, let's not screw around too long. This video is already 34 minutes long. I'll just bring these up to the dairy. I'll sell those Ross boxes off screen, and I want to show you the new slurry tanker. So, all right, there we go. Well, you know what? The money from that was not awful, so I will certainly take it. Do I have my beacons on? Yes, I do. Good job, BP. You remembered this time. You guys probably won't be able to see this because, obviously the video, but this tractor has 70.4 hours on it. I'm up to 137 hours on this version of the map. Remember, I had the big crash where I basically had to rebuild the map and get it back to where it was and everything. and that version had about 100 hours on it. We're coming very close, as I've said in previous episodes, to a full real-life year here on Old Ridge, February 7th. I want to do something special for that. What I may do is sort of a retrospective. We'll do I'll put in an original, unedited version of the map, and say, remember this, and then we'll go back to my version of the map, and I'll talk about what makes this such an awesome map, why it's so great, why, even though there are so many great maps out now, so many pretty maps, for Farm Sim now, but this, to me, is still the best map for Farm Sim, regardless, Now, I've made some changes to it that make it a little less optimized than it was originally and all that, with the textures and everything else. But the base stock version of this map that OEB released is, in my opinion, and it is only my opinion, still the best map for Farm Sim 15, bar none. And we'll talk about that a little bit, and maybe that year special, so. And again, I will keep making videos on Old Ridge until you guys don't want to see it. I can promise you there are other farms coming. There are. I absolutely promise. So, I get a lot of lag right in this area too, but, hedge. Yeah. No. Oops. I'm going to owe the council a new stop sign, it looks like. Or a new speed limit sign. But yeah, there are other maps coming, I promise. So. I was kind of curious. I think I tested this out already, and I don't think it works. Can we try this? Yeah, no, that doesn't work. I was hoping that worked, but it doesn't. I love the noise that makes when it opens. Okay, so anyway, we'll drive over here, and I will show you the new slurry. Slurry barrel. There it is. We'll jump out and take a look at it. Stop that. Turn that off. Make sure we set the brake. Jump out. So, you guys have all probably seen this. It's a Kawiko twin shift, double twin shift, where the wheels expand out from the sides there. I put the sort of drag hose rig on it. Chad gave me a great deal on the whole thing, so... speaking of that, I'll do that off screen too. I'll sell the major slurry tanker off screen just so this video doesn't get stupid long. But you're going to see this used a lot. Now I won't have to worry about, odors, and there's still odor, obviously, with slurry. It's always going to stink. But, I won't have to worry about overspray and contamination and all that because this is very precise, as you would expect. No more splash plate spraying over here for me. We're going to be doing all this now. And slurry is not going to be a problem anymore with the size of the herd that I have. So very, very good. Let's see. I didn't get a thumbnail, did I? Well, you know what? Let's just... let's do this one. Let's get a little bit of this going on, I guess. Yeah, that'll work. Maybe not the most beautiful one, but it'll work, I think. Need to get rid of that as well. Take the picture. And there you go, guys. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. We actually got something done in this episode. I know it was a little long, Sean. I apologize. I'm really trying to get these episodes shorter, but it takes a certain amount of time to do all this work, unfortunately. So, but hopefully you guys enjoyed that. As always, let me know what you think. If you liked the video, please click like. It's the best way. It's okay. Get your outros straight. This is why your videos are so long, BP. Please click the like button. As you guys know, it helps me and the channel out a whole bunch. Moves me up in the search recommendations so more people can find the channel. If you're not subscribed, you saw Old Ridge Farm and you wanted to check it out and you like what you see, please click the like button. Please click the subscribe button. It's the best way of being notified of when I make a video, which is pretty much every day. And if not every day, at least every 2 days. As always, thank you so much for coming to the channel, for liking, for commenting, for subscribing, for being my friends. It means so much to me. I'm going to say it every single video because it really does. I greatly, greatly appreciate it, and thank you so much. And as always, thank you for making me a part of your YouTube day. And this is the Bipolar Prophet saying, see you later.